Hey everyone, you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. Go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profit Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day, you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts, and that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the charts.
All right, welcome back, traders. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. We had some meh weather here on the East Coast. All right, well, we got a couple conflicting things happening on low time frames, and we all know the high time frames here are still looking pretty bad. 2 week is still long on here on Tether. So kind of got to go with the high time frame still. With what this is showing us, 2 week bull div is still kind of underway for Tether dominance. Although we did see a little bit of strength for Bitcoin, just not enough, I want to say. Bitcoin's still sitting around 82K. I'm inclined to believe that we're probably going to see lower prices potentially here. We did get a bit of a wick that came in last week. If we go to the futures chart, you can see it's, yeah. I mean, it did close green on the weekly last week. We filled this gap officially. Yeah, good. I picked up ARQQ like last week too, so that was good. That ripped up 15%. But yeah, bear market in April, right, Mr. Big? So I don't know why you're buying stocks if you believe that. Anyways, let's take a look at Bitcoin futures. So Bitcoin futures put in a weekly. I mean, it kind of looks like a hammer candle, but we did get a bearish cross here on our sentiment oscillator. High time frames are still pointing down on the monthly chart. Our 3 week actually is showing something completely different in terms of momentum on the bullish side. It's a bit of a confliction happening right now on this chart, but we gotta just kind of utilize what we see in front of us here. The daily or the weekly here on Tether dominance is going to be, we did print. I mean, I would say it did actually reject the 200-week moving average. Unfortunately, it's still holding along up here on the weekly time frame. It's a tough situation, tough call. But I will say this: so we are near resistance, right, on Tether. So what I think could happen is we could see a bit more of consolidation down, like the daily is still slated to the bullish momentum side. We do have a bit of bullish or bearish divergence for Tether on the daily. That's coming in, so that could bring Tether down here on like the 2-day chart. Okay, like I do have a bit of a wave trend that's kind of implying that the momentum on the 2-day time frame is sort of at the top here. right? As we had 2-day momentums, when we get towards these tops, we get tether to come down, we get tether to come down, we get tether to come down. So, over the course of the next couple days, we could see, some chop or some sideways, maybe up a bit. All right. But like the high time frames are still kind of slated to, man, this could still potentially go up, which bring markets down. So it's like a dicey situation. So the monthly still ticked up. It's trying to cross into this bullish control zone here, but this monthly closes. If we do get a rejection off this bullish control zone, then I would say we will see some really big upside in the coming months. Okay. But this needs to actually do that. If we look at the dollar index is down. So that should bode well for risk assets overall. Markets haven't really reacted to that yet. The market's kind of been in a pullback, right? So the thing I really want to look at, and it is kind of a tough situation to sit here and, hey man, the bottom's in. Hey man, we're going lower, right? It's a little bit dicey because we have high time frames that all kind of point down right now. But we still technically making a higher low than lows from back in the in September. So Bitcoin's still in a macro uptrend, aside from this major drawdown we're seeing here, which Bitcoin does in bull markets. Okay, we do have, on the 2-day time frame for Bitcoin, we do have a bit of bullish divergence that's on the chart. Okay. We do have this. This is here. We do have some bullish divergence on the chart. The 3-day time frame is also diverging a bit. So our lower time frames, like our daily 2-day and 3-day time frames, are suggesting that we could get a movement back up to maybe retest this 93K region. Okay. If we end up reclaiming this range, okay, that would be something really strong to see. And this would just be a little blip on the radar, and we can continue moving higher on the price, right? So we'll see how this plays out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you should be shorting this market, because we're at major moving averages right now down here on the 2-day and the 3-day time frame. All right. But our longer term time frames are still kind of pointing down. Our weekly chart here, let's go to it. Our weekly here is getting a bounce off the bottom Bollinger. All right, so that's what could catalyze this bounce up over the next coming weeks. All right. And the other thing that we're looking at here is our weekly momentum. All right, so our weekly momentum, our weekly stochastic RSI actually is beginning to cross back up. All right, we haven't confirmed anything just yet. A real cross up would be the K and the D line crossing back above the 20 line, and we really get that momentum to come back into the market. We're not there right now. And this could end up just failing, and it could go up and then roll back over, and we make a new low. Like that is all of what could happen here. Okay, I'm not gonna just tell you guys something that. I don't know how this is going to end up playing out. Truthfully, I don't. I know what you know. I'm just looking at a chart. So, but to me, usually every single time we come into these zones on the weekly time frame, these are local bottoms. All right. So if this is a local bottom, and this does start to push up, and we do start to confirm above the 20 line, well, you know what direction the market's going to go. Okay. And when these do confirm and cross, these momentum swings last about a couple months, right? So the last time we confirmed this weekly cross was in September, and we sort of topped out here in December, right? So that was 3 months roughly. Okay. So we confirm, we could safely gauge about a 3-month run for Bitcoin. Okay, ETH does look like shit, yeah. The ETH Bitcoin ratio, we're still kind of monitoring this. This thing continues to break levels. I still believe we're going to get down to this range low, and maybe by the time we get down to that range low, it could be the time to roll Bitcoin for ETH. depending on what's going on in this market cycle. The most important thing I want you guys to look at, okay, and this is what's leading me to believe that we're going to continue higher here in the coming months, is the U.S. net liquidity, okay? And so anyone can put this on their chart. Anyone could look at this stuff, but I feel like lots of people don't really look at it, all right? This whole run up here that we had on U.S. net liquidity was supported. You can see that this run was supported by U.S. net liquidity, right? This run right here, this was our 2020, this was our bull run. I should just say this was our bull run, all right? This last high we just made, okay, was not supported by U.S. net liquidity. Liquidity was coming down, and we diverged from what was really happening, okay? Hence, we get this major drawdown. Hard to really just call a top, man. I think it has a lot to do with what I'm talking about, which is U.S. net liquidity. So if U.S. net liquidity ends up going up to this neckline from March of 2022, right? This neckline up here, this would actually be what we want to see happen for risk assets to go back up. This would mean that Bitcoin goes to make a new all-time high. And it would be supported by U.S. net liquidity, right? Just like this whole run here was supported by this. We had a push up, we had a bit of a pullback, we had a push up, a bit of a pullback, we had another leg, we had another leg. Okay? It pretty much just following it. It's almost tick for tick, aside from this deviation here, which was this high that we put in. That was not following U.S. net liquidity. Hence the major and massive pullback and drawdown in the market. All the meme coins got wrecked. Everything got wrecked because there's no liquidity. No liquidity coming in. No new liquidity coming in. Right? If this does start to push back up, you could almost bet that some of these assets, even altcoins, are going to get bids. All right? So let's see how this plays out. Nothing is ever for certain in markets. We can only just base what we're talking about based off technicals on the chart, which are a guide and a tool. And it's not necessarily always correct either. Sometimes you get faked out. There's definitely fake outs that happen. But you can see that we're very close to a US net liquidity breakout. Okay? That's very close to breaking out. It's also possible that this doesn't break out. Maybe that this thing just rolls over. And if that just rolls over, well, guess what? Bitcoin's just going to roll over. And the stock market's just going to roll over. Okay? So we're paying attention to this right now. We do have, like I said before, a weekly stochastic RSI cross that could potentially save our momentum here on Bitcoin. Right? That's the long and short of it right now. We are in a teetering type of spot. Bitcoin, technically, from a technical point of view, doesn't really even look bad. We made a new all-time high. We're going to come back down, possibly, probably with a higher probability to retest, this $70,000 region, this level here, right? It's pretty clear. Breakout, back test. Usually, you're not going to just go straight down after that. You're going to get some sort of bounce. This bounce may be weak. We might just end up making a lower high, and then we start a bear market, okay? It could do something like that. It could also, if U.S. net liquidity breaks out, it could still backtest, but then we can make a new all-time high, and we can continue this run into the end of the year. Or I would say until like June, July, because these weekly momentum swings last about 2 to 3 months in the market, okay? Thoughts, comments, concerns, the way I'm seeing this, please provide your opinions and outlook. I would love to hear that. I'm just looking at a chart, and just like you guys. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Some altcoins are looking better than others. It's a toss up right now with the altcoin market. There's, like I said, AVAX actually was looking interesting down here. It might actually continue down to this, $12 region if we get continuation down. But this, if you believe in this asset, this is putting in a big M shape, and yeah, it's re-entering into these buy zones here, right? Like, right, this is your previous range. You're actually on it right now. I would say you actually broke it or are breaking it right now. But you put in a weekly a doji candle here. This could act as a reversal candle from a range deviation. So if we do get continuation back up, you could almost bet that this is probably going to reclaim the range, go sideways, and make a run at the top of the range again. And this would be like almost like a double bottom, right? This is all given we get some upside in the market. Okay, I do think we are going to see some upside. Personally, I'm not just being biased here because I'm invested in crypto. This is true. I truly see this is truly what I'm seeing on the chart based off those weekly stochastic RSIs. Not confirmed yet. So anything can happen right now. That can be thrown off and we can just continue down because the high time frame, like I said before, the Bitcoin high time frame doesn't look the best. Doesn't look the best, right? We're getting a cross down here, but if that weekly crosses up, what we'll do is we will make monthly bullish divergence on the stochastic oscillator. Okay, that could happen, and that's the only way it can happen is if we get that weekly to cross up, because that'll change your 2-week momentum, that'll change your 3-week momentum, that'll change your monthly momentum. Okay, so that is, I would say that is what this market is essentially relying on, is a weekly cross back up. Okay. But yeah, I mean, here you go. The monthly momentum on the wave trend points down. We didn't get as high as these movements up here from 2021. This is where you really made the bearish divergence, right? You guys see that? That was bearish divergence. We haven't made that yet. So what could happen is we get this move down, and then we get this bounce, and this be our new all-time high, and then we make the bearish divergence to end the cycle. Okay. Yeah, PDI, Wrap Bitcoin, Pulse Chain, actually, they all look pretty good right now. They all look pretty good. We got breakouts and back tests. Beautiful bounce right off the previous breakout level. Nice candle putting in there. 3-day bullish divergence. That's right, Henry. Good job, man. Yep. So the 3-day bullish divergence on the MACD looks pretty strong. Okay. That is a momentum shifting structure coming in here for Wrap Bitcoin on Pulse Chain. To me, this looks like a nice pullback. You got what looks to be maybe a descending broadening formation or a bull flag up here after a ascending triangle breakout. Does it mean that you're just going to start breaking out right away? No, I think what could happen is we get this move up to maybe this $900,000 region. We pull back. On this pullback, after we get this pullback is really the important part, because if we end up making a higher low, that means we're showing lots of accumulation, right? And that's when we can really see this thing accelerate, okay? But if we get up here and we come back down and make a new low, that's problematic, right? We want to see reaccumulation happening. We're getting this bounce, which is great. Now, after this bounce, where we go, we're going to get a reflexive rally based off that bullish divergence we're setting up on the chart. Same implied move up, right, guys? Implied move up. The weekly time frame is also, well, this is what really is making me extremely bullish on the scenario. This right here. We have weekly stochastic RSI bullish divergence making a higher low than this previous low from August of 24. This is very, very good. This is very strong. Okay, once this actually matures and it crosses up like we did back here in September when we confirmed it, we got a major rally out of Wrap Bitcoin. This all looks good right now. Actually looks really good, I should say. The same thing for Teddy Bear. It's in the same type of formation. Okay. It's in a different formation. It's actually in a long-term channel up, which is still good. Okay. I think Wrap Bitcoin from a technical perspective actually looks more bullish than Teddy Bear. But if you look at the Wrap Bitcoin ratio against Teddy Bear, well, this is implying that Teddy Bear is actually going to maybe outperform Wrap Bitcoin. Okay, if this breaks out. Hasn't broke out yet, but this is a big falling wedge pattern against rat Bitcoin, meaning you could potentially roll your rat Bitcoin for teddy bear here and multiply your rat Bitcoin position. Okay. And I actually have done that. So I'm taking that risk. But yeah, I mean, look at the weekly. This is it's almost very clear what's happening here. So you got triple MACD bullish divergence here against rat Bitcoin on the ratio. Teddy bear looks like it's going to do some things. Okay. Hasn't broke yet. When it does break, it's going to be a pretty big move. Okay. This is it's probably at least going to go test here, which is about a 63% move against Bitcoin's move up. So if Bitcoin doubles up, this thing's doing about a 3x or 2.5x. Okay. You guys get the idea? What's tricky about ratios, though, is this ratio can go up if Bitcoin goes down and teddy bear also goes down, just not as much, right? But because against the dollar charts, we're implying a movement up, we're going to take this ratio and apply it to movements to the upside instead of to the downside because of what the US dollar pairs look like. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I picked up a bunch of Piave the other day around 23 cents. And again, very nice structure. Man, huge doji candle coming in on the weekly close there. Massive bullish engulfing candle. We got to the midline. That's great. We could pull back here a bit after this huge candle. 120% move this week on this asset. That's massive. That's a massive bounce and a massive reclaim of this range for this asset. Okay. Very impressive move there for Pulse Chain Ave. There must be something happening with this asset that is in line with what Pulse Chain DAI is doing and or that whole mechanism in play. Okay. To me, this looks great. The weekly actually is ticked up here, and you're starting to get some separation on that. The 3-day huge buy signal that came in is confirmed. This is extremely bullish looking chart to me. Okay. Yeah, so the Pulse Chain assets look great. I got to say they look great on the 3-day and weekly timeframes. I have nothing bad to say about them. They look phenomenal. Okay. Any other assets you guys want to cover? I know I just spent a lot of time on these, but we have some folks from the Pulse Chain community that do tune into these streams, and I'm personally involved in it myself. So, yeah. So yeah, man, U.S. net liquidity is the key to continuing this run. XRP. All right. I mean, the high time frame on XRP probably looks great. I drew something maybe for a drawdown on it because after you get these white candles, you usually get reversals. Monthly candle here you can see is also looking kind of nasty. But what could end up happening is we print an inverted monthly hammer candle or something here and hold this range, and we make it to $4, $5, $9 regions in the next coming days, weeks, months. Here, I actually circled this region here because it looks a lot like when we broke out of this triangle pattern. I mean, this was a lot more explosive. It was a lot more lower cap back then. We were in a parabolic altcoin season here. Different situation here. Much longer drawn out structure. So yes, a lot of pent up energy on the breakout. We got the breakout. Very nice breakout for XRP. It is holding the previous all-time high candle body structures here on the monthly time frame. That's good. That's good. Okay. What does it mean here for the next coming days, weeks? It could be just going sideways. It could make one more test of $1.50 if we do get drawdown. Okay, that I wouldn't throw that out of the equation, but it looks like I said before, it looks like we're in I mean, yeah, I mean, in this scenario, we're actually just like at this all-time high, right? But it looks like maybe we're in this type of consolidation period here, where we get maybe a few months of consolidating before we make blow off top or something. Okay. This blow off top happened in Q4 for XRP. Yeah, we'll look at Tesla. We'll look at Tesla. Last I checked, Tesla was back testing a breakout. Okay, yeah, we broke the parabola structure here, but I think the weekly mean like a pin. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close to a hammer candle, if you ask me. It's very close to a hammer candle on the weekly there. Long-tailed wick, and you closed right back above the 200-week moving average. Look at that. Look at that buying pressure, man. That looks pretty hammerish to me. Now, it's all about the follow-through after you get something like that. You got the buying pressure to come in. Now it's all about the continuation after something like that to reclaim and go higher on the price, okay? Now let's see, do we have weekly momentum that is ticking back up here? You're starting to curl around here on the weekly, okay? And the price action from Friday would suggest maybe you're going to see some continuation. Say maybe because it might just fail and maybe it won't continue, okay? But that looked like a very long-tailed wick, man, on the weekly time frame like that. That's pretty strong. So look for continuation on Tesla. Look for that follow-through, and it's important on something like that when you get those long-tailed wicks like that. But, I mean, like I said before, every single time you do come into these weekly zones, these are usually buying territory, okay? QBTS, sure, we'll take a look at it. Beautiful. You got the cross up on the weekly, man. That's great. That's great. You got weekly stochastic RSI bullish divergence down here. This is implying a major move up for the stock, which looks like you're already starting, man. Like right at 46%. You had this nice double bottom structure. This to me looks like a massive cup with handle. I would not be getting bearish this stock right now by any means. Okay. Your handle here is about 155% measured move. If you fib from, your all-time high wicks and candle bodies here to your low, it looks like you could see a $27 QBTS in some time, okay? It might go extend further than that, but I'm just giving you a clue, an idea what would happen if you were to break the all-time high here, because it doesn't look like that should be a problem with that kind of volume coming in there last week. That's a very strong candle, okay? RKLB, yeah, take a look at it. Rocket Labs. All right, you definitely could be pinning here off this 886. All right, we got a nice drawdown here. You did almost tag the 1272 fib extension. I think I gave you that as an estimate target, I believe, on that flap. I want to say, these structures, yeah, it did actually tag it. If you do candle bodies, it tagged the 1272. Yeah, and you got 2 standard deviations down. Beautiful. That's usually what you get on pullbacks like that. Let's see. Is your weekly kind of rounding out? It's trying to, right? So it hasn't confirmed it just yet, but you can see you're working on it. You're working on it. You're working on that weekly cross, all right? How's that 3-day looking? All right, same thing. 3-day ticking up here, right? 2-day also ticking up. These are all in buy zone territories. When you're doing stuff like this, this is probably not a bad area to accumulate this asset, okay? You also do want to pay attention to, your monthly. Your monthly is suggesting something a little bit different, okay? But this could end up ticking back up, all right? You haven't crossed the 80 line on a confirmation yet, but you want to really be buying assets, guys, when they're, in these zones here on longer term time frames like that for longer term duration of trade. So I think we're going into the end of these assets movements, okay, before probably a lot more downside, all right? When I say the end, I'm thinking we got maybe 3 to 6 months left on some of these stocks before they really tumble and crash. That's kind of what I'm alluding to. Okay, I don't think we're starting a bear market or a recession right now or today, but I think maybe next year. All right. SMR. Okay. SMR. Okay, so you're retesting your previous all-time high from August of 22. Put a nice bounce right there. That's good to see. Your weekly resetting. Nice. Your weekly RSI also showing you a bit of divergence there. You can see it ever so slight. Weekly below 50 on the RSI, probably a buy zone for this asset, or close to the buy zone for this asset. Where does that mean this goes? Probably need a little bit more data to know where this is really going, but it's still in a massive uptrend. Yeah, you might have broke this trend line here, but you could probably reclaim it with some momentum that might swing back into it. But yeah, just pay attention to that trend line here, right? So right now it's resistance, but you can see what's happening. It's trying to round out here, and it probably pop back up to this 2150 region and maybe retest it before going back up to test your all-time high. All right, so something like that. All right. Very good. It's all about those weekly crosses, man. That's what drives momentum back into the asset for the next weeks and months. Okay. Make sure you guys understand that. Those monthlies take a long time to mature, right? Because if you're getting weekly resets, that means those monthlies, if they're coming down, but the weeklies are coming up, that's going to push the prices back up, and those monthlies might lag 3 more weeks or a couple months until that weekly momentum is exhausted. That could mean the asset makes a lower high somewhere. That could mean the asset makes a new high, but makes bearish divergence, right? And so those are the things you need to kind of pay attention to when you're looking at these assets. LUV, Southwest, Mara. Okay, we'll take a look at them. Okay, airlines. Yeah, man, this asset is pretty wrecked down here. Okay, you're below the monthly 200-week moving average still. Yeah. That weekly is curling up, man. Like, that looks good. That looks good. So as soon as you start to see this actually confirm, like you confirmed it back here in June, all right? Confirmed it back here in June. You confirmed one back here in November of 23. You confirmed one back here in April of 23. I wonder if those were the start of some major movements up. Maybe it took a couple months here for this to actually get a swing up, but this was great. This was the low, right? After this signal here, you got a 47% move on this stock. Look at the volume coming in here. This is very significant when you see some stuff like that. All right. It looks like it's trying to be accumulated down here. I like that. This actually looks pretty good. This actually looks pretty good. Back test off this trend line break. Yeah, Southwest looks pretty good down here in terms of risk to reward. Okay. Would I buy it? Probably not, but from a technical point of view, it looks fine. It needs to start reclaiming some of these levels, like 36 to $40 to really have a shot at seeing the top of the range eventually. Okay, Mara follows Bitcoin, so if Mara is looking good, well, Bitcoin's probably going to be okay. Mara is at the long-term channel at the bottom of it right now. Yeah, I mean, you got an ever so slight weekly pending cross up here. You got the cross. Now you just need to see follow through on it. My guess is you're going to start to see that. All right. You got you're flashing, a little bit of MFI buy signals here on the weekly time frame. Your 3-day chart here is, going into a bit of a squeeze on the 3-day. 2-day also probably squeezing a bit. You did kind of trigger these, I think, to the short side. So I'd be a little bit careful with Mara right now. You are still holding these range lows. You could just take, if you are going to want to take a trade on Mara, you could take an entry right here at this, this $13 level or whatever. Set a stop below this range low, this $12 level. And because if you end up breaking that, you got a lot of downside, right? You got about 40% downside if you lose this level. Okay, so if you want to be buying this stock right here, you can. Just make sure you got a really tight stop loss on that trade. You break that channel, it's that means Bitcoin's probably breaking down if you lose that channel. All right. Yeah, like I said, we're at pretty much pivotal areas right now on these charts. A lot of these assets are, either going to really break to the upside hardcore, or we're going to lose levels and we're just going to see bloodbath stuff. Okay, we're right on tipping points on a lot of these assets right now. But it's all about that U.S. net liquidity. If that breaks out and that ticks up, that is going to save the day on this momentum. So got to continue to pay attention to that. All right. What did I miss? I got Mara GSAT. I never heard of that. Let's take a look at it. All right, man. Well, it's an asset that's a pretty clear trading range, at least since 2021. Pretty much very clear range rectangle that this asset's in. You got a low, you got a higher low. It looks like you're trying to put in another higher low here. Trying to. You've been rejecting this 2287 level for right now. Maybe look for the back check here. Maybe it'll come back down to 1960 or something. Yeah. A lot of these weeklies look like they're trying to reset. So could see some sideways, some retests before momentum kind of shifts. Okay. Yeah, but a very clear trading range. You're in the middle of the range. I wouldn't say that this is the best area to take a trade on something like this because you are in the middle of the range. But you'd really like to see this round out here and make a higher low. Then you got 1, 2, 3 higher lows, and then you can make your way to testing the top of the range again. And maybe eventually, maybe break out of that range at some point. All right. So back to tether dominance here, and what we really want to see for this market to really continue is what we really want to see is that these moving averages get respected and rejected. So tether needs to reject this region, which is what it looks like it's trying to do right now, and it's just roll over. And this rolls over, we go into a massive bull run. Okay. That's what we need to see happen. But the problem is we have, weekly, 2-week, 3-week bullish divergence. That could really throw a wrench in this market. All right. So we'll see how this goes. For now, I still think our bull run's intact until we actually shift this trend. If this trend shifts and this starts breaking out of here and back testing as support, and we're consolidating and doing stuff like this, guys, we would be definitely going into a bear market if that happened. Okay, but Don't think we're doing that right now. I think we're in a little bit of a lull period here, ending maybe a correction, hopefully just a correction, whereby which I think we could reclaim levels and trend higher with that global, that U.S. net liquidity ticking up. Fear and greed index is something you really should pay attention to. Also, I believe the market was in a lot of fear. It's still in fear. You want to buy when the market's in fear, typically, and you want to sell when the market's in greed, typically. So I am slated to the bullish side of things right now in these markets, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I'm at. All right. We've been live for about 40 minutes. We got 13 people tuned in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and continuing to tune into these streams. I know it's been a rough go here the last couple months in crypto and even in stock market, I want to say. Kind of is what it is. We have nothing really we can really do in terms of what it's doing. You just got to kind of always try to protect yourself as best as you can. And always keep some dry powder on the sidelines for massive buying opportunities. You know, if NVIDIA ends up really coming down to like $80 or something crazy, you know, that's probably a great long-term buy if we get that opportunity like that. All right. But yeah, you can see it's just really, really up here on the high time frames like that. That's kind of scary, right? It looks like it can continue to roll over. If they want to roll it over here, they can do that. But it looks like the monthly time frame is trying to hammer off this low. That's pretty significant if that gets continuation into the close of the month here. Man, but everything's telling me to sell it. I'm even getting cross downs on the monthly. Yeah. This actually confirmed a sell. Yeah. NVIDIA's in a bit of trouble. NVIDIA's in a bit of trouble. Okay. So this could actually bring everything down if this continues down, like it looks like it might. So futures down 0.5%. NASDAQ futures also down 0.62%. Dollar index flat. Gold up 0.2%. Crypto kind of flat-ish right now. Tether down a little bit. Probably we'll know more information tomorrow with what's happening in crypto. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. You guys got anything else to cover? All right. Well, I think I'm going to just cut the stream. There's not really too much else to talk about. Let's see how this week plays out. We got a big week here at the Fed. Maybe they'll be a little bit less hawkish on the market with the inflation numbers that tick down a bit. But yeah, I think overall, a lot of these assets, those weeklies are really important. That U.S. net liquidity is really important to really see continuations in these markets. If we don't get that and we don't see that happen rather quickly, we are going to roll over some more. Okay. Just throwing it out there. Make sure you guys know those risks. And just trade smart, trade safe. We'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully you guys have a good week, and we'll catch you guys then. Thanks for joining the stream tonight. And as always, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already. Take the notification bell, all that fun stuff. And we'll catch you guys next week. Appreciate you guys tuning in.